As someone who has grown up with social media platforms, I will be doing a discussion today about a question I've wondered for a while. How do social media platforms impact the lives of children your age? Social media is an application or website that allows users to communicate through content sharing, commenting, and more. Social media has been around since the 90s, but really took off in the early 2000s with platforms such as Facebook and MySpace. Today, social media is as popular as ever, with platforms such as TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook all having over a billion downloads on the Google Play Store. With these platforms being as popular as they are, it is no surprise that social media platforms have a large influence on the youth growing up today. A poll by CNN in 2018 revealed that 56% of kids aged 8 to 18 had an active social media account. This high number may be the result of the addictive properties of these platforms. In an interview about social media entertainment with journalist John Coaster, USC professor and sociologist specializing in digital cultures and communications Dr. Julie Albert had this to say about the addictive properties of social media. In psychological terms, it's called random reinforcement. It means sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. She further elaborated about how these platforms affect the brain the same way a slot machine would impact a gambling addict. This is concerning considering over half of children aged 8 to 18 use social media actively. This could lead to dangerous behaviors such as partaking in viral trends that are unsafe in the pursuit of attention on social media. Sophia Chokas Bradley, PhD in psychology of adolescence and assistant professor of psychology at the University of Pittsburgh, is the author of the article Do Social Media Likes Matter for Teens' Well-Being? The purpose of her article is to identify how likes on social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook impact the mind of children. In her article, Chokas Bradley states that humans have a natural desire to belong, and adolescent children are typically very fixated on their social status. Because social media is so popular with children and teens, many kids relate their social standing and popularity with how many likes and followers they get online. Not only is this harmful to your mental health, but can also create danger. Because kids are so fixated with likes, they may participate in dangerous online trends in hopes of getting likes and follows. This was exemplified when the Tide Pod challenge was a viral trend. This challenge consisted of people eating Tide Pods for no reason other than internet publicity, which is very dangerous. According to CBS News, 10 deaths have been linked to the consumption of Tide Pods. When considering 10 people have died from one online viral trend, one must wonder how much harm has occurred from people partaking in dangerous activity online in the pursuit of internet attention. Please do not imitate any dangerous challenges you see online. In his article, Your Attention Didn't Collapse, It Was Stolen, journalist Joanne Harari conducts an interview with neuroscientist Earl Miller in an attempt to figure out why his attention span was deteriorating. When asked why Harari's attention span was worsening, Miller stated, We have a very limited cognitive capacity, but we have fallen for an enormous delusion. The average teenager now believes they can follow 6 forms of media at the same time. He later cites a study at Carnegie Mellon University, where 136 students were to take a test. Some of the students had their phones turned off, while others had their phone and notifications turned on. The students who had their phones turned on did 20% worse on the test than those who had their phones turned off. Miller states the reason the students with their phones on did significantly worse is because of the switch cost effect. The switch cost effect explains that when you check a text, it takes a while for your brain to refocus on the task you were previously doing. This is a problem, as most of your generation uses social media frequently. I urge you to try and use it in moderation, otherwise, you may face the consequence of a worsened attention span. A poll was conducted by the University of Michigan's C.S. Mott Children's Hospital. Their national poll on children's health surveyed 1,653 parents of at least one child between the age of 8 and 18. Just under two-thirds of parents said that their child is self conscious about some aspect of their appearance. With this generation being heavily affected by body image issues, one must wonder why so many kids feel this way. A poll was conducted and published in the article Where to Turn When Social Media Worsens Body Image Issues, authored by journalist Athlia Chang Cook. Chang Cook cites a 2021 nationally representative survey consisting of 2,263 social media users. These users were asked a set of questions related to social media use. Of these users, 26% reported feeling jealous or bad after looking at someone else's social media post. This number is very alarming when considering a sizable percentage of social media users are kids your age. You guys are growing up seeing very attractive people online every day, and this creates impossible beauty standards that many of you hold yourselves to. This may explain why well over half of your generation is growing up with body image issues. Hristina Nikoslava is a journalist who has gathered several statistics regarding the sexual grooming of children on social media platforms for his article, Online Predator Statistics 2023 Update. The purpose of this article is to communicate to his audience about the dangers of online predators. According to Nikoslava's research, there are an estimated 5 million active online predators. It is reported that 20% of children have been sexually solicited online, and 75% of those children do not tell their parents about it. These predators who solicit children are dangerous, as sex offender statistics reveal that up to 85% of online predators are convicted child molesters. Sexual solicitation online is not exclusive to young girls either, as 31.1% of victims are male and 2.1% of victims identify as gender fluid. This is why it is important to be careful who you talk to on the internet. These people can disguise themselves online to appear to be someone your age. It doesn't matter what gender you are. There are millions of people online who are looking to take advantage of you. It is important to be cautious when talking to strangers online, and even more cautious when those strangers want to meet with you in the real world. Ashley Abramson is a journalist who authors the article Cyberbullying: What is it and how can you stop it? The purpose of the article is to communicate to her audience about cyberbullying and its impact on a child's mind. Cyberbullying is the act of using technology to deliberately inflict harm on someone else. Cyberbullying could include name calling, threats, sharing embarrassing videos, and more. According to the Cyberbullying Research Center, 25% of teenagers have been victims of cyberbullying, and about 17% report being perpetrators of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying victims have reported various psychological effects, such as lowered self esteem, paranoia, increased stress, and suicidal thoughts. The scary thing about cyberbullying is that the perpetrator can remain completely anonymous, meaning the victim cannot simply report the bully to their principal. This makes solving the problem extraordinarily complex. Social media platforms have installed methods to attempt to stop cyberbullying, such as blocking and removing comments. It is important to understand the implications of cyberbullying and to never harass anyone online. If you know someone who is a victim of cyberbullying, try to be a resource to them. It helps more than you would think. According to the CDC, approximately 78% of high school students and 38% of children aged 6 to 12 do not get enough sleep. Why might this be? The article Sleep and Social Media Staying Connected Can Keep You Up, written by journalist Rob Newsom and internal medicine physician Dr. Anis Reham, poses a theory. The article's purpose is to inform their audience about why they may have trouble sleeping. Newsom and Reham state that when someone uses their phone to access social media, the light from their smartphones creates a stimulating effect. This light impacts the 24-hour circadian rhythms. Our circadian rhythms are the internal rhythms in our brain that control our sleeping cycles. This means anyone who uses their cell phones before bed is at higher risk of developing sleeping disorders such as insomnia. Considering the amount of time this generation spends using social media, it is no surprise that so many of you report having trouble sleeping. If you have any trouble sleeping, I advise you not using your cell phones after getting in bed. Brianne Slay is a licensed clinical psychologist who studies early childhood mental health and is the author of the article Why TikTok Diagnoses Are on the Rise. The purpose of Slay's article is to warn her audience about the dangers of TikTok on children's mental health. According to Slay, 90% of teens use social media, and the average teen spends 9 hours a day online. With the average teenager spending most of their time online, it is easy to see why a social media platform like TikTok is so influential on this generation. As you grow up, many of you will have or are currently experiencing an identity crisis. This leads many of you to experience teenage angst, and you guys will probably go online to search for answers for your questions. Recently, mental health has become a trend on social media, with many individuals posting videos online about their day to day lives with their mental disorders. Some of you will see a video of a person who is diagnosed with a mental condition such as anxiety or depression and find that you have some of the symptoms. This causes many confused teenagers to self diagnose themselves with serious mental conditions that they do not have. Self identifying yourself with a mental disorder is harmful to yourself and people struggling with it. It is harmful to you because if you believe you have a mental disorder that you do not have, you may try to live your life in accordance to that condition. For example, someone who believes they have major depressive disorder may engage in harmful behaviors or use their self diagnosis as an excuse for their actions. More so, a self diagnosis is more harmful to those suffering from the mental health disorders. Saying a phrase such as, I'm going to kill myself or I am OCD, is insensitive to those actually suffering from those conditions. Overall, the spreading of mental health awareness on social media platforms can be beneficial, but can also be harmful. If you think you are suffering from a mental health condition, please seek medical attention before self diagnosing yourself. You may just be confusing normal teenage feelings with a serious mental health condition. Overall, I hope my video helped you understand the impact that social media use can have on you. It is important to understand the negative consequences of social media, whether it be putting yourself in danger, your mental health, or your sleep. Obviously, social media does have some positive effects on your lives, but I passionately believe after conducting my research that the bad outweighs the good. I chose to provide this information in the form of the video because I believe it allowed me to fully elaborate on the points I wanted to make. I hope you all learned something from my video and will use this information to moderate your social media use.